Hello everyone and welcome to part 13 of my playthrough of The Legend of Heroes, Trails to Azure. Before I begin, I just want to point out that in the description of each of my playthroughs, I've put video chapters and timestamps. So if you want to find a particular part in the playthrough, you can immediately just click on the numbers and or the video chapter, and it'll take you there. So that can be an easy way to navigate to get to the parts that you want to get to, because most people don't want to watch a 2-hour long video, and that's understandable. But maybe you just want to watch a short segment. Anyway, so right now it's the first day of the trade conference, and what's going on is there are preliminary meetings, I believe, and tomorrow in the game will be the main event. So oh, that's right, we have to check the PC. Let's check the support request before we plan our next course of action. So basically this playthrough will literally be just making the rounds in each district and fulfilling support quests, potentially, if I get around to doing that. Oh, Mary gone missing. My family's beloved kitten Mary has gone missing. I searched the neighborhood yesterday but couldn't find any clues. Could we ask you to help find her? Our apartment is on the second floor of Acacia Apartments on East Street. Please visit us for further details. Bracing for battle. Oh. We'd like the special support section to join us for a training session. We'll be waiting at the Ash Tree Inn over in Armorica Village. Please come by if you have the time. Len and Aeolia, Bracer Guild. Musician Manhunt. Mueller? Ah. I travelled here from the Empire to stage a concert, but my musician has disappeared. This is an urgent matter. Could you please help me find him? I would like to discuss the details in person. Meet me at Crossbell Station. Hang on a second, Mueller. He's not Olivier's friend, is he? His bodyguard? No. Surely not. I mean, unless Olivier is acting as a musician again, which I highly doubt that, because he should be at the conference. Monster extermination. A dangerous monster, Savage Horn, has been sighted on East Crossbell Highway. We ask that the special support section deal with this threat swiftly. And we've done those too. Okay. Cool. So we've only got 4.
いろいろ来ているけど、どれも気になるな。この演奏家の創作っていうのはちょっとよくわからないけど。
いやあ、でもまさか遊撃士のお姉さんたちの養成とはね。訓練ってのは色気がねえけど、時間があったら寄りたいよな。
いい機会かもしれませんね。こちらの猫の創作というのはあのご家族からみたいですけど。
ああ、東通りに引っ越したボンドさんのところだな。あの猫とも縁があるし、できれば力になってあげたいな。
そうね、私も賛成。私たちを頼ってくれたみたいだし、忘れずに訪ねてみましょう。
タワーのお披露目とビップたちの来訪で街も浮き足立っているみたいだ。いろいろ回ってみるのも楽しいかもしれないね。
Yeah, I think it is Olivier, now that I saw Lloyd's reaction. I'll be here on standby for the day. Someone, meaning me, has to keep in touch with the First Division and finish prepping for tomorrow's trade conference. Just focus on your own work. I'll contact you if anything pops up. I'm disappointed that we haven't caught an Azure fish yet. But it'll happen in due time. I always like checking each room just in case an unexpected event pops up, because honestly, you never know with trails. You really never know. That's a cute plushie. We'll visit Cope. What's wrong here? You're spacing out. Oh, no, it's nothing. Good luck at work today, everyone. Huh? Fumia. Okay, what should we give him? Salmon. Yan yan. It's so funny. It looks like how they didn't change his how they didn't change his jumping animations. He's just standing still. Oh my, are you giving this to me? Thanks, Cope. We'll make sure to put it to good use. So cute. Grr. Say, Zeit, you were with Kia during the Orcus Tower unveiling, right? She looks a little depressed. Do you have any ideas why? Grr, woof. Even if he knows, there's no way we'll be able to make any sense of it without Tio. Yeah. I'm honestly surprised that Tio didn't join the party at the end of last chapter. Because I would have thought that she would. But maybe it'll be at the end of this chapter. Can't say I give two wits about the trade conference, as long as we teach Araboni and Calvert to stop messing with us. If we give them so much as a reg, they'll be more than happy to help themselves to a few selge. Yep, that's the way it works. Oh, hi SSS. I want you to meet my mummy. She's a tour guide. Pleased to meet you all. Thank you for being so good to my daughter. I've heard many wonderful things about you from her. Oh no, not at all. We couldn't possibly take that much credit. She mentioned you were a tour guide. That sounds like an excellent profession. Do you have a long day's work ahead of you? No. Actually, we were given time off for the duration of the trade conference. I plan to spend all of it with my daughter. If that's the case, why are you still wearing your uniform? Oh, well, that's because I wanted her to wear it. What? We're gonna play tour guide now. It's like a real tour, but pretend. Haha, how about that? I bet you're having a blast, aren't you, Mimi? Yeah, huh. See you later, guys. Watch out for bad guys, okay? I see. I've got to take a picture of this. Snap, snap. Over here on your right, you'll see the famous spell of Crossbell. It is believed to date back to the Middle Ages over 500 years ago. Excavated in year 1185 of the Septian calendar, it is known to this day among citizens as a symbol of the city itself. It is believed to date back to the Middle Ages over 500 years ago. I had to leave the limousines carrying all of the dignitaries around. Can't say I've ever felt quite that tense before. It was strange. I could practically sense the gravitas emanating out from their cars. I barely got a glimpse of the national leaders as I entered the city. They were all in oval cars, so I couldn't really see them. Who else could I have been in there besides the dignitaries? Perhaps the Red Constellation or something? Or Heyu? I have to admit, I was a little nervous when I saw all those limos pass through here. It's a different kind of energy compared to the anniversary festival. The dignitaries have finally arrived in Crossbell. Thank goodness the unveiling ceremony went so smoothly. We're finally going to see the new City Hall building, eh? It's been 5 years since they announced the plans for its construction. Rumour had it that we were in for another year's wait at least. But just after Mayor Cross was elected, he decided to invest IBC capital into the project. Doing so allowed construction to proceed without all the ridiculous squabbling over private interests. And now it's all finished. I'd say we all owe Mayor Cross a great debt for that, wouldn't you? Ha ha. It's been 5 years since they announced the plans for Orcus Tower's construction. That's the same dialogue. But not anymore, haha. I'd say we all owe Mayor Cross a great debt for that. Oh my gosh, I knew you were a woman of culture, Pruna. Those beards are choice. Real talk though, that beefcake soldier next to Prince Oliver was way more my type. The Mara I would pay to have a man like that carry me like a princess just once. Oh my goddess, Lena Lee, did you see Prince Albert's beard? Talk about dreamy. Chancellor Osborne's is spicy too, but his vibe is like high-key intimidating. Whatevs though, both their beard games are totally on point. Well, they're really talking like a young person this day who is attached to the internet and has never left the home. It's just one expensive dish after another. But hey, what are vacations for, right? Let's not sweat the expenses. Munch, munch. This is bliss. Eating is always the best part of traveling, hands down. Have I ever mentioned how indecisive you are? Alrighty, time to order me some nice fresh fish. Actually, wait a minute. Look at this daily special they've got. Welcome, are you dining in with us today? Feel free to sit at any open table. We're not too busy, so I could even hook you up with some reserved seating on the second floor if you like. Just let me know when you're ready to order. Whew. Never would have thought that being a waiter could be this much fun. Nothing puts a pep in my step like the smiles of customers, especially of the female variety. Wow, you're talking like a documentary presenter. Presenting on animals. Slurp. Why so many people bothered going out for the unveiling ceremony is beyond me. They wouldn't get to see it up close anyway. I'd much rather wait for the Crossbell Times to cover it so I can catch up on things a tasteful way, with a nice cup of coffee. Float, I like the way you think. I fully agree. Why so many people... Yep. Yeah, okay. It's the same dialogue. It took me some courage to make saltier weight tables, but it honestly worked out better than I expected. He's been showing basic decency to our female customers, even the ones he fancies most, so I think he'll be fine. If only we could teach him to not just cook like a chef, but think and act like one too. I might be asking too much of him though. Celtio's always coming up with wild ideas in the kitchen. Unfortunately, that often results in him adding surprise ingredients to the dishes. He's not going to do things by the book, or need to think outside the box. He's really nice that he hasn't fired him. Alright, time to test Nono's bouillon. However you say that. Well now, this is much better than I was expecting. I did hear that she cooks for herself at home. We're going to need to ask her for more help in here more often. Nono's managed to imbue this bouillon with tremendous flavour. These vegetables take longer to cook, so maybe I should score them instead. Slice, slice. There, that ought to do it. Chopping intensifies. Aha! So this is what they mean by finely minced. I've got to restock on these tasty pastries while I have the chance. I'd be in a world of trouble if I ran out when my cravings strike. Yeah, she's from Ciel. Everyone's all pumped over the unveiling ceremony, but here I am, still down in the dumps. Just reminds me of how jealous I am of Cerrone. I mean, think of how carefree she always is. How are we even related? Oh, she's that clumsy nurse. Welcome to Legion's Foods. If you're looking for the best ingredients in town, you've come to the right place. For the next 3 days, we're selling a special trade conference combo to commemorate the event. It's a special set of the finest ingredients we could gather from Erebonia, Labelle, Rimaferia, Calvert, and of course Crossbell. Buy one while you can. You're not selling any such thing. Whoops. Did you hear, Pearl? Senior Captain Julia Schwartz is in town, all the way from Labelle. Of course, Cynthia, who hasn't? I already told a friend to snap some pictures for me even. I'm worried they won't be able to get a decent shot of her through the crowd though. Oh, you need to get those photos copied for me, please. I'll do anything. Sure, if you want them that badly. I may have underestimated just how much of a hold the Senior Captain has on people. Of course. This is the Senior Captain Schwartz we're talking about. I always knew Cynthia was a fan of Julia Schwartz, but I didn't realize she was that big of a fan. I feel like I'm getting to see a whole new side of her. Oh, I'm sorry you had to see that. Welcome to Time's department store. Let me know if you need any help. I honestly don't understand how people like this in real life can just be so obsessed about celebrities. Like, I just don't get it. To me, it's really weird and pointless even. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I joined our customers in watching the unveiling ceremony. Orca's Tower truly is a majestic sight to behold. The way it looms above, 40 stories into the sky. Why, one could even consider it Crossbell's newest landmark. The unveiling ceremony must have been incredible. Too bad I couldn't attend. Unbelievable how many world leaders are in town though. You only ever hear about them in the news. I'm going to be looking forward to the next Crossbell Times for sure. And it just says, I think his dialogue changed. The unveiling ceremony must have been incredible. I'm going to be looking forward to the next Crossbell Times for sure. Whoops. Good old battle scopes. That unveiling ceremony was mind-blowing, but I don't like the way it got my mum all riled up. I hope she doesn't buy something else we don't need. Mum's got this weird look in her eyes today. I hope she doesn't buy something else we don't need. The unveiling sure was something. It has me feeling so festive that I might spend more than usual today. It's that time again. My husband just got paid, and our wallet looks like it could use some trimming. I'm going to take my sweet time looking around today. More you break in your shoes, the more they'll feel like an extension of your very body. A perfect pair of footwear is never as simple as it seems. The same goes for those who wear them. Haha, I didn't know our customers could be so forward, but I'm not complaining. How long has it been since I've gone to a mixer? Tonight can't come soon enough. All three of the guys coming are businessmen from the Harbour District too. This is finally it, my big chance. Wow, the unveiling ceremony was even more amazing than I expected. You have to hand it to Crossbell. They know how to go to town. We watched the unveiling ceremony from the roof of the store. The view up there was absolutely perfect. It's a good thing I made sure to do my research beforehand. You really can't find a better view of the tower than from up on the roof here. I'll never forget how I felt the moment they unveiled it, in all its colossal grandeur. I watched the unveiling ceremony from our rooftop. It left me speechless. Orcus Tower truly is a sight to behold. Actually, that reminds me of something kind of funny. Today, at least on the day that I'm recording this video, there's actually supposed to be a solar eclipse in the sky. But the hilarious thing is that it's just covered, the sky is overcast, it's covered in clouds, and so you can't even see the sun. So it's like, awesome, we can't see the solar eclipse. Yeah, good old Adelaide overcast weather as usual. Huge crowd today, huh? It's got me too distracted to keep count of all the hotties I see. At least the stress of the conference hasn't affected Raymond too much. The trade conference has finally begun. As a fashionista, it's my duty to pay close watch to how the dignitaries are dressed. Whoa, it's a lot of people. It's them, Eugene and Theodore, in the flesh. Oh goddess, I think I'm about to faint. Those two are even more brawny and handsome in real life than they appear on stage. I hate to say it, but I'm starting to understand why my wife is so head over heels for them. And here I thought the tower would overpower our alluring auras. Alas, it was a gross miscalculation on my part. My apologies, Theodore. Between the crowd and tower, no one will even notice us in our training gear. That's what I get for listening to you. Eek! Never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd meet the silent Sion and flaxen prince. Can I have your autographs? Settle down, will you? You're going to scare them off. Besides, I'm going to be the one who gets their autographs first. He's a detective guy. Inspector Donovan. Hey there, kids. I saw you were part of the unveiling ceremony security detail. How'd it feel seeing the dignitaries up close? As overwhelming as you'd expect. No kidding. You could practically see an aura around each of them, screaming, "Look at me, I'm a continental big shot." Sounds like that really made an impression on you. Well, let me give you my 2 Myra's worth. Obviously, it's important to recognize their presence, but it's just as crucial to make sure not to get swept up in it once you're on their playing field. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. It's easier said than done though. Well, on the flip side, the more it's done, the easier it gets. At any rate, it looks like it was a positive experience for your team overall. I'd say you owe Sergei some thanks for pushing you into that assignment. That we do. We'll remember to let him know. Now you know how tangible a real bigwig's presence is. What's more, each one is different from the next. Just don't let yourself get swept up if you ever end up facing off against one of them on the playing field. So there's Orca's Tower. Looks even more impressive in Trials of Cold Steel 3 and 4. Such a magnificent building. You know, my husband was involved in its construction. Haha, I couldn't be prouder of him. Wowee, you did? You're amazing, Daddy. Hey Lima, look over there. Did you know Daddy and his co-workers built that building? Every time I came home from a journey, the tower was a little closer to being finished. So this is what was hiding behind the curtain the entire time, huh? It was worth the wait. Well, that's enough of that. Time to go back out there and start another journey. I can stop by home some other time. And the final building in this district, this one. I saw that Wendy girl bolt out of the store just after an orbital airship came roaring overhead. It took her a while to come back too. Wonder what had her so worked up. Oh, that Wendy, it just doesn't end with her sometimes. She took one of our display cameras and rushed out the door, completely abandoning her work. The old me would have been foaming at the sight. Luckily we didn't have many customers yet, so it wasn't too much of a hassle. I actually found it rather charming even. I suppose I can let Wendy off the hook for this. Giving live demonstrations of our cameras might even be a good way to promote their features. Ah yes, I'll have to remind her to show me the photos she took later as well. The trade conference doesn't directly concern me, so I haven't been paying much attention to it. Enough about that. Take a gander at this appliance. Isn't it adorable? It looks like it has a face, if you think of those screws as eyes. What a charming little thing. It was kind of a wide shot, but I managed to snap a killer pic of the sail. I rushed as soon as I could get this bad boy developed. You guys want to take a look? Oh wow, I'm kind of curious, so sure. Wide shot may have been a bit generous. Not to be that guy, but are you sure this is the sail? I can just barely make out its silhouette if I squint real hard. What? Come on guys, look closer. That's obviously the bow, see? And this over here, that's the stern. Well, now that you've pointed it out, it's tough to argue otherwise. I think we're out of our depth on this one. Wendy spent so much time tinkering that it's given her a mechanical sixth sense. Huh? What are you going on about? Who wouldn't geek out over this? A vaguely sail-shaped blur? Pretty much everybody but you. It was kind of a wide shot, but I managed to snap a killer pic of the sail. I think I'm going to blow it up and frame it on my wall. Well, at least you're happy, I guess. Wendy snatched the display camera that I was going to use this morning. I wanted to take pictures of Princess Claudia and Prince Albert so badly too. Whoops. Orbital car parts. Oh. Yeah, very expensive. I could afford it though, if I exchanged the Myra. Me? I'm not spending a single Myra here. The only reason I keep coming back is so I can see the cute sales girl. By the way, I snuck a peek at her name tag. Angel on high, thy name is Chucko. What an adorable name. It sounds just as cute and lovable as she looks. I don't care about no unveiling ceremony. Just seeing her smile makes me higher than any dumb old tower ever could. Good grief. Some people in this game are just weird. But that's part of the charm of this game. People will just tell you what's on their heart, and for some reason it's not awkward, but it kind of is. Hyperventilating. It's here. It's really here. The Imperial government's very own private orbital train, the Eisengraph. Its fiery red paint scheme and dignified detail work practically embody the prestigious might of the Empire. Sensational. It's no wonder that its name means Iron Count. I'm so glad I purchased a camera for this once-in-a-lifetime spectacle. The Imperial government's private train truly lives up to its name of the Iron Count. Ah, what a fantastic day. This is what my entire life has been leading up to. I watched the unveiling ceremony from the roof of the department store. Sure, she was about the size of an ant, but technically I got to catch a glimpse of Julius Schwarz's face. Swoon. This morning was something else, let me tell you. All those gorgeous limousines coming and going, these dignitaries sure know how to ride in style. Phew, the unveiling ceremony ended without incident. I feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders. But I can't relax just quite yet. There's still plenty of work to be done. Today's packages are late, so I'm going to be in a real hurry to deliver them once they finally get here. I figure the freight train cargo is undergoing a stricter inspection than usual. Not much I can do about that, what with all these Imperial bigwigs here. Today's packages are late, so I'm going to be in a real hurry to deliver them once they finally get here. Yep, same dialogue. What about the geofront? Door is locked, okay. It's been a while since we've been in there. That's cool how we can enter the station. Oh, a magazine. A magazine entitled Car Star Special Edition sits dazzlingly on the bench. Learn the orbital car pad and shiny paintwork. When's that blasted train coming? I'm sick and tired of waiting. I heard there's a trade conference happening in Crossbell right now. Maybe we should go visit that Orcus Tower place. It's all anybody's been talking about. I came here from Altair, port city on the western border of Calvert. It may just be one stop away, but it's still shocking to see how much Crossbell has changed in person. Calvert's been modernising too, but it feels practically rural compared to Crossbell. Compared to us, Crossbell's growth has been absolutely staggering. It makes Calvert feel almost rural in comparison. That's Mueller. Hey Lloyd, that guy that's giving off some real intense vibes. Don't tell me he's our client. Excuse me sir, we're with the special support section. I've been waiting for you. Thank you for coming. My name is Mueller. I work as a talent manager for Erebonia's music industry. No you don't. A pleasure to make your acquaintances. A talent manager? He doesn't look the part at all. If anything, he feels more like a bodyguard. I get the sense that I've heard of him somewhere before. Is something wrong? No, not at all. If it's alright with you, would you mind giving us the specifics of your request? You mentioned something about a missing musician, as I recall. I take it that means you're their manager? That's correct. We travelled to Crossbell as part of his concert tour. However, the moment I took my eyes off him, he went missing. That puts me in a tight spot. I've little to go on in a city I'm not familiar with. I could see that posing some difficulty. Crossbell is larger than most. Yes, though I'm sure that won't be the only hurdle to contend with. In any case, could I ask you all to begin the search immediately? Let's find that musician. Of course, we're here to help. Could you give us some more details about this musician we're looking for? Gladly. My client goes by the name of Olivier Lenheim. He's a blonde man in his 20s, often clad in a white coat and sporting a lute. A lute? Wouldn't that make him stand out like a sore thumb? How hard could it be to find this guy? If only things were so simple. A mere search and retrieval mission wouldn't be an issue ordinarily. But you see, Olivier's personality is a bit, shall we say, problematic. He has an incurable need to stick his nose in other people's business, only to cause more trouble in the process. To be frank, he's a nuisance, a fool, and a real pain in my... excuse me. This guy's hilarious. I see. Ideally, I'd like you to find him right away, so as to keep his tour schedule intact, but I know better than to get my hopes up. You'll be doing me enough of a favour if you could simply grab him before he gets himself into any incidents. You're starting to sound less like his manager, more like his babysitter. Either way, it explains exactly what kind of person we should be on the lookout for. Do you have any idea what sort of areas might pique his interest? Well, if I had to say, Olivier has a tendency to be drawn to bustling crowds or places of ill repute. He also fancies himself a gourmet, so he might have slipped away to some sort of eating establishment. Basically, if it's any place someone could stir up trouble, you can bet it's on his radar. The downtown district, back alley, and entertainment district are the first places that come to mind in that case. I'd say you're on the right track there, but I've already combed the entertainment district as it so happens. You'll be better off excluding it from your search. He undoubtedly knows I'm looking for him, so he's probably avoiding the most obvious spots. That complicates things. But if he's drawn to large crowds, then the Harbour District may also be worth checking out. I believe Mishy is scheduled to make an appearance there today. I see. It sounds to me like you have a good list of possible destinations. My apologies, I wish I had more concrete information to offer you. Don't worry about it, this is plenty. If there's nothing else we need to know, we'll get started right away. Best of luck, I'm counting on you. And if he refuses to cooperate, don't be afraid to use force. In fact, I invite it. A good slap upside the head should do. Sure thing. What kind of weird relationship does he have with this guy? Quest, musician manhunt started. Olivier Lenheim is a travelling musician dressed in a white coat. The loot he carries with him will be a dead giveaway. Your best bet of finding him would be somewhere of ill repute. If not that, then an area with a large crowd or perhaps a dining establishment. I think you're on the right track focusing on the downtown district, back alley and Harbour District. If you can't get him to cooperate, I don't mind if you have to use force. In fact, I invite it. I'll be expecting good news from you. The Imperial Government's private train, the Eisengraf, arrived at Platform 1 this morning. They're moving it to Platform 3 though, since regular service is still running. You're welcome to go take a look. It's not something you often see after all. Journalists from the Imperial Chronicle came by to gather information earlier this morning. It just goes to show how visible the trade conference is on the international stage. Oh, that's not bad. Thank you for choosing Crossbell Station. The railroads will be operating under their standard schedules for the duration of the trade conference. Please make your way to the second floor if you wish to purchase tickets. I've heard that the Imperial Chancellor, Gileath Osborne, has ties with former Speaker Hartman. And yet, some say the Chancellor himself was behind the Empire's decision to deny Hartman asylum after he defected. The second he outlived his usefulness, Osborne cut his lifeline. That's the kind of man the Blood and Iron Chancellor is. The moment you outlived your usefulness is the moment you're left in the cold. That's the kind of man the Blood and Iron Chancellor is. Well, there's also another reason, but I won't give spoilers for Trials of Cold Steel 4. Oh, I'm sorry, could you give me just a moment, please? Attention all travellers, due to the arrival of the Eisengraf, stricter security measures will be in effect today. We ask that you please refrain from entering Platform 3 for the duration of its stay. Thank you. Sorry about that. They have me in charge of making the announcements around here. If you have any questions about the railways, I'll be happy to answer them. Welcome to the ticket counter. Let me know if you'd like to make a purchase. It would be my pleasure to assist you. How long has it been since I last saw His Excellency and Prince Olivier, I wonder? It's an incredible honour for a humble Imperial soldier like myself to get the chance to greet such high-ranking government officials. I feel as though I've seen that large man in the black suit over on the first floor somewhere before. Yeah. I think you have. Hang on, what about down here? This is still sort of part of the railway district. Oh, I just got back home from a trip abroad, but it's not exactly a happy homecoming. My stomach's been killing me for hours now. Maybe I should just head to the hospital. I was lucky enough to see the Ciel make a graceful landing at the airport earlier. And let me tell you, it was a sight to behold. Talk about a souvenir. That'll be a fun story to share from this trip. People said Mishy is going to be holding some kind of event today in the Harbour District. Come on, Grandpa, we have to go. I'm relieved that the unveiling ceremony ended peacefully. We're just one day into this trade conference ordeal, but it feels like we've already cleared a major hurdle. This is Crossbell Airport, but we don't have any reason to be here right now. Alrighty, where to next? Well, Olivier will probably be... hang on. Okay, the back alley. Let's go to the back alley. Yeah, it's the same dialogue from last time. Click clack, click clack. Well, well, isn't this interesting? People on the Orbital net just can't stop chittering and chattering about Orcus Tower. I can't wait to see how many tourists it's going to bring to town. A little economic boost is never a bad thing. I should try to get my hands on a piece of real estate with an excellent view of the tower while I still can. I can't wait to see how many tourists it's going to bring down. Ugh. To town. I can't read today. A little economic boost is never a bad thing. She just says the same thing. There's good items. The First Division is keeping Crimson and Co under surveillance right now. Let's leave them to their jobs and focus on ours instead. Isn't Orcus Tower incredible? I snuck away from work for a bit to check out the unveiling, and it just blew me away. I bet everyone who ends up working there will be just loaded with Myra. He's hoping they come down to our club and become my newest regulars. Sounds like some fancy schmancy VIPs from abroad are in Crossbell right now. What's a guy gotta do to get some walking publicity like them in his club? Now that'd pull in some customers. But we'll check this bar. The first part of the trade conference is underway as we speak. Owing to that, the police officers on patrol in the back alley look even more stressed than usual. You can tell by how close of an eye they're keeping on Crimson and Co. Oh, that gives you plus 30 CP. Not bad. This jerk of a customer pressured me into getting totally hammered last night. Ugh. And now I have a splitting headache the day after. Again. Poor lady. Alright, well we found nothing there, so let's go to East Street. Wait for this guy to talk to him. President Rocksmith's limousine passed by here not long ago. It was a pristine white with very striking gold accents. Anyway, very presidential. You probably wouldn't be able to find another car like that if you searched the entire continent. President Rocksmith's limo was a sight to behold. Same dialogue. I was amazed when they finally revealed Orcus Tower. So amazed, in fact, that my poor knees gave out right under me. Same dialogue. I'll pause the video there and get a drink of water. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's continue. Man, Orcus Tower sure sticks out, eh? It gets my craftsman's blood flowing. I think I'm going to try building a model of it. I already made a model of the old city hall back during the anniversary festival. Might as well keep the trend going. By the by, I think that's Chairman Moore's grandson over there. Talk about a surprise guest. I don't see him come around the stalls too often. The unveiling of Orcus Tower has the city at a fever pitch today. I smell sales on the horizon. I don't usually go to the department store, but it might be worth checking out right now. Using acerbic tomatoes in a dish can help add a great depth of flavour. I wouldn't recommend putting it in something like a salad though. Acerbic tomatoes on their own are terribly bitter. I can't say I'm much of a fan. I hear the Liberlian Crown Princess is in town for the conference. When you think of Liberl, the first things that come to mind are its famous acerbic tomatoes, right? I hear they were actually created by an orbit manufacturer called the Zeiss Central Factory. ZCF may specialize in orbital engineering, but they also gave us the gift that is the acerbic tomato. Talk about cutting edge. Not long ago, the acerbic tomato had its humble beginnings in a lab at the Zeiss Central Factory. That's the same dialogue. Okay. Now that Mum is boycotting the housework, it's fallen on the men of the family to pick up the slack. Me, I'm in charge of the meals, but what should I buy? Never thought it'd be so difficult to figure out what to cook, one meal after another. Man, and Mum was doing this every day? Gotta hand it to her, that's impressive. Border security has gotten pretty strict, it seems. One of my buyers from Calvert was complaining about how long it takes to enter the state now. Clearly, having all these foreign dignitaries here in Crossbell is a big deal. One of my buyers from Calvert was complaining about how long it takes to enter the state now. I guess border security must have gotten pretty strict on account of the confronts. Oh, rare veggies. Nah. Goddess willing, we'll make it through this conference without Heyu and the Red Constellation causing any trouble. Ah, this job is murder on my nerves. Maybe Olivier's in here. No. Wow, East Street's bustling right now. Guess that means I've lifted the traffic restrictions. I'd better get back to work. Oh, hey there, SSS. You guys here for lunch? And hey, what did you think of the unveiling ceremony? Amazing, huh? I won't be forgetting it anytime soon. Being in the presence of the dignitaries was overwhelming, to say the least. No kidding, right? Especially that Blood and Iron Chancellor. He's the real deal. This was my first time seeing him up close and personal. It made me realize just how intimidating he really is. Oh yeah, that reminds me. There was this guy right beside the Chancellor. Sorta looked like his secretary. Wasn't he that elected kid you were hunting down a while back? One I mentioned seeing here? Well, cat got your tongue? Hey, I get it. But you know, that actually reminds me of something else. Oh? What would that be? Last year around springtime, the Blood and Iron Chancellor and former Speaker Hartman held a little informal meeting behind closed doors. But you guys already know all about it, don't you? Pretty much, yeah. It's common knowledge within certain intelligence channels. Sure, but that wasn't the case at the time. Neither the Crossbell nor Ereboni media reported on it. Naturally, the CPD didn't manage to get their mitts on that info either. At all. What's more, despite being so important, he hardly had any guards assigned to him. It's almost as if he casually dropped in for a quick stroll around Crossbell. I guess that's how they managed to keep the whole thing on the down low. Sounds scandalous. Yeah, if I didn't know any better, I'd call it a load of bull. Exactly. And what really ticked me off is that all of it happened right under my nose. You can bet I looked into it after the fact, gathering dirt from every nook and cranny. Doing so netted me a list of possible suspects involved in setting up that secret rendezvous. One of them stands out in particular now, a young man named Lecter. We do already know he was with the Chancellor during that meeting. Yes, though I'm surprised to learn that he was responsible for arranging it. His diplomatic skills are out of this world. Right, a mere secretary wouldn't be able to pull off something like that. That is, unless he's also a member of the Imperial Army's famed intelligence division, right? Yeah, what if... Leave it to Grace to figure all of that out on her own. Man, I sure hope she never goes digging into my love life. Randy. Haha, looks like I hit the bullseye. Still, I can't believe the bozo I met with you guys was that Lecter. Anyway, you guys probably have loads of work to do, so I won't keep you any longer. Now I know there's a lot more to that Lecter fella than meets the eye. You guys had better watch yourselves around him. We know, we'll be careful. It was nice speaking with you, Grace. Those cups are huge. Once we finish chowing down here, I'll be hitting the old dusty trail for some more conference coverage. Security around their dignitaries is bound to be tight, but I may be able to sneak a peek while they're on the move. Daddy said that Calvert has even more Easterners than Crossbell does. We moved here when I was just a little baby, so I don't remember it at all. But from what I hear, it sounds like a lively place. That must be fun, I bet. Everything I hear about Calvert sounds so fun and lively. I'd really like to visit someday. We'll be going around interviewing citizens on the street this afternoon. And if we're lucky, I'll manage to nab some photos of the dignitaries while we're at it. Tongue-clatter slurp. Yuck. Who slurps like that in public? Now this is delicious. Oh yeah, that reporter staying here went out to interview someone or some such, just in case you were curious. How many times must I tell you, dear? You shouldn't make so much noise while you eat. Have some manners for once. Like said, it'd be cool if we opened our own restaurant someday. We don't have the kind of Mara for something like that. Besides, is he forgetting about our original goal? The goal was to save money and eventually open a shop together. Now he wants us to do a restaurant? Not sure how I feel about that. Rumour has it that Master used to run a shop in one of the seedier parts of the Eastern Quarter. We first met at Crossbell, but he never talks about his past. He's the most mysterious guy I know. There was a horrible ruckus outside this morning. They say it was Calvert's president driving through the district, but I don't care if it was the Pope himself. I won't stand for anyone ruining the peace and quiet of this neighbourhood. I like my establishment to be quiet and peaceful. Calvardian president or no, I won't stand for anyone causing a ruckus. Well, good luck confronting him, dude. Bruce is always trying to make things fit a mold, you know, shove every idea into a box. Sometimes you gotta think outside of it. Why not evolve our plans to start a business together into opening a restaurant together? My husband used to be at his wit's end dealing with Roy's apathetic attitude, but that boy's been working much harder lately. Perhaps someday he'll even wind up joining the association. If he did, I'm sure my husband would be one of the first to celebrate. Roy's been working his hardest lately. Perhaps someday he'll even wind up joining the association. If he did, I'm sure my husband would be the first to celebrate. My grandson Roy has taken an interest in working at one of the street stalls. I used, I think they meant to say, to run one by myself back in the day. Perhaps it's in our blood. Or run one myself, not by myself. My grandson Roy has taken an interest in working at one of the street stalls. I used to run one myself back in the day. Perhaps it's in our blood. Lord Lakelord hails from a long family line of barons in the Empire. Supposedly, a lot of Erebonian nobles double as business entrepreneurs. In Lord Lakelord's case, he's a professional fisherman on top of that. Amazing, isn't it? Apparently he's received special education for gifted anglers ever since he was a child. What that entails though, I couldn't say. I know I'm the one who brought it up, but what would special education for gifted anglers even entail? Maybe I'll try asking Lord Lakelord sometime. How go the angler's jewels? If you cannot measure up to the challenge, then you are more than welcome to save yourself the trouble and surrender. Just remember that your precious fishing holes will forever be ours if you do. Ha ha ha. If you cannot measure up to the challenge, then you are more than welcome to save your soul, trouble and surrender. And he just says the same thing. Here we go, boys and girls. The Western Muria Trade Conference is officially underway. We'll be handling all kinds of requests on top of security detail. If anything goes down, the guild will be there quicker than you can say boo. That's encouraging to know. The Red Constellation and Hayu's motives have yet to be confirmed, so we can't allow ourselves to relax. Yep. With those nasty Nellies lurking around the conference, we've got to be extra careful. Anywho, we have your department on speed dial if we learn anything important. Thanks, Mikko. Same on our end. The Bracer Guild will be handling all kinds of requests on top of security detail. If we find anything new about what the Red Constellation and Hayu are up to, we'll give you a ring. It doesn't look like Clarice is home today. She often looks after yogurt for me, so I'm deeply indebted to her. I should do something nice to show my appreciation next time. Clarice often looks after yogurt for me, so I'm deeply indebted to her. Yep. Auntie Clarice said she was going to the cathedral today. You know, I feel like she went there on the same day last month too. Probably for her deceased husband. Bond's family cat disappeared yesterday. I helped them look, but no luck. Just where could she have gone?
Sunita がいけないんですの。Sunita がマリーをちゃんと見ていなかったから。
サニータ、そんなに自分を責めてはいけませんわ。
ああ、それにマリーは必ず見つかるさ。だからサニータ、元気をお出し。ああ、君たちは。
まあ。
どうもこんにちは。依頼を拝見して伺いました。
ちゃんと見てくれたんだね。ありがたい。正直なところ、警察というよりギルドに頼むような内容かとも思ったんだが、君たちのことが頭に浮かんだから頼らせてもらったんだ。
ええ、そう言っていただけるとこちらもありがたいです。
なんでも子猫のマリーちゃんが行方不明ということですが、一体いつからいなくなったかわかりますか？
ああ、はっきりした時間はわからないんだけど、昨日の夕方過ぎからなんだ。
家族みんなで東通りの露店を見ている時にサニータが気づいたんですの。目を離している隙に突然いなくなってしまったみたいで、その後商店街の皆さんにも手伝っていただいて付近を探したのですけれど。
ああ、それで夜になるまでみんなで探したんだけど、結局見つからなかったんだ。
お父様は嘘つきですわ。今朝になれば帰ってくるって言ったのに。
すまない、サニータ。
ちなみに何か目撃情報はあるんですか？
ああ、と言っても全て昨日の段階のものだけどね。それらの情報によるとさすがに街道には出ていないようなんだけど、中央広場方面へ向かうマリーを見たという人がいてね。昨日はもう夜も遅かったからそれ以上は追い切れず捜索を切り上げたんだけど。
で、音沙汰なく今朝に至るってわけか。となると市内であればどこへ行ってても不思議じゃねえかもな。
つまり捜索範囲は市内全域ってことかな。
もう少し何か手がかりが欲しいところだけど。失礼ですが、これまでにマリーちゃんが出て行ったことは？
いや、それが一度もないんだ。何しろマリーはサニータによく懐いていてね。それに臆病な子だから自分から離れてどこかに行くのはどうにも考えづらいんだよ。だから何かの拍子で僕たちを見失って迷子になったんだと思うんだけど。
なるほど、そうですか。
とにかくまずは街に出て探してみるしかないのかしら。
なあ、とりあえずはそこから始めるしかなさそうだな。
僕も落ち着いたらまた探しに行くつもりだけど、長丁場になりそうだし、もし他に用事があれば先に片付けてくれて構わないからね。
そうですね。
We're on the
い
case.
え、他は大丈夫なのですぐに捜索を始めたいと思います。
そうか、助かるよ。
じゃあロイド、まずはどこから調べるの？
そうだな、昨日の繰り返しになるかもしれないけど、まずは足取りを追う意味でも東通りから調査すべきだろうな。
ま、妥当っちゃ妥当か。
捜査の基本ってやつだね。
ちなみにこの東通りでマリーちゃんが行きそうな場所に心当たりはありますか？それなら露店にある魚屋さんですわね。この辺りでは一番のお気に入りの場所なんですの。
ああ、今朝は確認してないけど、もしかしたらひょっこり姿を見せているかもしれないし、店主のマルテさんには昨日捜索を手伝ってもらったから来ていればわかるはずなんだ。よければそちらの方で話を聞いてきてもらえるかい？
なるほど、わかりました。
ところでボンドさんの方はこれからどうされるんですか？
幸い今日は仕事も休みでね。もう少ししたら昨日の続きで捜索を始めるつもりだけど、東通りの人たちには昨日のうちにだいたい声をかけて回ったからね。今度は中央広場の方を地道に回って情報を集めようと思ってるんだ。何かあったらいつでも声をかけてほしい。
了解っす。
それじゃあまずは露店の魚屋で聞き込みかな。
ああ、早速向かおう。
Quest Merry-Go Missing started. Okay, so we're looking for a missing cat and a missing prince now. So, cat on top of a prince. Goodness me. This will be a wild goose chase, I'm sure. Thank you again for agreeing to help. And now I'm going to continue searching over in Central Square. Please let us know if you find any leads. Now, I will admit, the voice actor for Bond is Sunita. I reckon they're good. They suit the voices. But for Krail, the voice actor is not a bad voice actor, but she just sounds so much older than she really is. It almost sounds like she's a grandma, even though she's Bond's wife. So yeah, I will admit, I don't think it suited her, but that's just my opinion. Thank you again for agreeing to help. For now, I'm going to continue searching over in Central Square. Please let us know if you find any leads. Please forgive me, Mary. This is all my fault. Sunita. We need to find her quickly. Yeah, let's hurry for Sunita's sake. Please find Mary, everyone. The poor thing must be so lost and afraid right now. Oh, are you all looking for Bond's family cat? His poor daughter has been in tears over that lost kitty for over a day now. I hope you all managed to find her. Bond's family cat disappeared. His daughter has been in tears about it for over a day now, the poor girl. I hope you all managed to find that lost kitty. That guy's a really nice neighbor. Alrighty, let's ask around. So we'll ask this salesperson.
何か用事かい？
ええ、ちょっとお聞きしたいことがありまして。
Lloyd explained the situation and asked Marty if she had spotted Mary since yesterday.
ああ、ボンドさん一家の子猫だね。警察が探してくれるなら安心だ。でも、あいにく今日はまだ見ていなくてね。念のために置いてあったあの子の好物の干物もそのままだったし、少なくとも昨晩からここには来ていないんじゃないかね。
そうですか。
あのご家族にはいつもひいきにしてもらっているし、力になってあげたいんだけど、なんとか見つけてあげてちょうだいね。
ええ、もちろんです。
ご協力ありがとうございました。
まずは空振りか。
ロイドさん、この後はどうするんですか？
ああ、とりあえずは周辺で一通り聞き込みを行って、あとは捜索範囲が広がってしまうけど、サイトの花に頼るしかないかもな。
それはいいんだけど、ティオちゃんがいない状況でちゃんと意思疎通できるかしら。
そうなんだよな。でもまあそこはなんとか身振り手振りで。
あれ、何してんの？
ランディの。
Oh. That's odd.
ランディ兄にお兄さんとお姉さんたちじゃん。こんなところで何してんのさ。
どうでもいいだろうが、とっととうせろ。
釣れないな。それじゃあそっちのお姉さんの体に聞いちゃおうかな。また思いっきり揉んでみたいし。ちょっと。
見ての通り特務支援課のお仕事でね。君たちに関係のある話じゃないから絡まないでくれないか。
別に絡んでるつもりはないんだけど。ちなみにどんな仕事なの？は
あ、仕方ないな。
Lloyd explained the case of the missing kid, and I love how she just appears out of nowhere.
なるほどね。それでそのマリーって子、これからどうやって探すの？
ああ、これから警察犬の力を頼って匂いをたどろうと。
それじゃダメだよ。
え？
お兄さん、犬は詳しそうだけど猫についてはまだまだだね。もっとさ、マリーって子の気持ちになって考えてあげないと。
どういうことだ？
詳しいことは知らないけど、その家族最近引っ越したんでしょ？だったら答えは一つだと思うけど。
そうか、どうして気づかなかったのかしら。住宅街だわ。
そこに前の家があるんだ。
そうか、マリーは初めから家に帰ろうとしていたんだ。ただし新しい家ではなく、前に暮らしてた住宅街の家の方に。
なるほど。確かにそれなら筋は通りますね。
どちらかというと犬は人に、猫は家に馴染むというからね。
Yeah, that's true.
飼い主とはぐれた後の猫の行動パターンを考えればすぐにわかるわけか。
確かにコッペなんかも支援課のビルから離れねえしな。
そういうこと。それじゃ先に行ってるからね。
It's kind of funny how she's suddenly helping us.
まさか首を突っ込むつもりなのか。
みたいだね。
Even though she was so
まさに
intimidating
気
at
まぐれな
first.
子猫。いや、虎の子と言うべきかな。
し
シャレになってないんだけど、どうしたものかしら。
ま、ドンパチが絡まなきゃそこまで危険なやつじゃねえ。すぐに飽きるかもしれねえし、様子を見てみるとしようぜ。
わかった。俺たちも早く住宅街に行こう。
Okay. Does anyone comment on her? No. Oh, there's, did I talk to them? Handicrafts, huh? I'm actually pretty good with my hands. Maybe this could be a good fit. You think Kronk here would be willing to hire me, though? I bet Marlin would get a kick out of it if I learned how to make pinwheels. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I'll try asking Kronk. Those spinning toys are super fun. Spinny, 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 spin. Whoa, Marlin, your eyes are swirling. Spinny, spinny. Oof, I'm getting dizzy. Are you okay there, Marlin? I'm okay. Wibble wobble. No, you're clearly not. That's hilarious. Did I talk to him? Yeah, I did. I don't know how I missed Kronk and... what's his name? Roy and Myling. At least I think I did. Alright, so now we're going to the residential district. I mean, we could alternatively look for Olivier, but Shirley just came out of nowhere and she just decided to wait for us, so let's go see her first. We'll cut through here, we'll talk to the people here afterwards, and also here.
Ah, この家だけど。って、君の同行を認めたわけじゃないんだけどな。
ねえお姉さん、犬派と猫派どっち？私？どちらかというと
Same here.
猫派かな。シャーリーと同じだね。
諦めろ。何を言っても無駄だぜ。
はあ、そうみたいだな。
Okay, we've got a Jaeger in the party helping us. Yeah, I'm also a cat person. Cat people for the win.
ここなら釣れそうだな。
I can't believe speaking with... yeah, well, we're gonna put that. Maybe... Hey, here's Lloyd's excuse for fishing while on duty. Maybe we can use the fish to lure in Mary. Ah, one Azure fish, come on. Salamander? Not bad. Turtle, yeah. Alright. Alright, let's keep searching. Come to think of it, I haven't seen the pizza delivery man in the neighborhood recently. He used to zip back and forth through here all the time earlier this year. No doubt thanks to Yona. They lost a valuable customer when he left for Le Mans State. I used to see the pizza delivery man in this neighborhood every day. Maybe someone had to give up their love of pizza. You're under arrest.
この前のおまわりじゃねえか。
特務支援課とか言ったか。
その説はどうも。ちょっと話を聞きたいんだけど、いいかな。
They're probably like, who is that redhead girl?
へえ、猫ね。
そういうことかよ。
心当たりあるみたいね。
お互い時間を取るのもなんだし、とっとと話しちゃくれねえか。
はあ、どうすっかな。
ユリ、どうするよ。そうだな。ずいぶん舐めた態度で聞き込みをしてきたし、それなりの誠意を見せてほしいところだよな。土下座とか裸踊りとか。
そりゃいいや。
そういうわけで土下座か裸踊りに決定。ああ、野郎の裸とかいらねえから。
この人たち思った以上に最低ね。
やれやれ、何か勘違いしちゃってるみたいだね。
脅すわけにもいかねえし。
ああ、ここは俺に任せて。
ねえねえお兄さんたち、なんでこんなのに手間取っちゃってるわけ？
え？
はいはい、さっさと履こうか。それとも抵抗して胃の中全部ぶちまける？
おい、いきなり何を。
このガキ、有利に何しやがっ。
うざいな。こいつ殺しちゃうよ。
Oh, that's extreme.
ちょっと待った。
さすがにそれは。
やれやれ。お前らとっとと言う通りにしろ。そいつはやばい。ためらいなく本気でやるぞ。
わかった、言うから。猫なら来たよ。あんたらが来るちょっと前だ。軽く脅してやったらすぐに飛び出していったんだ。だからまだ近くにいるんじゃねえか。これでいいだろ。有利を離してやってくれ。
へえ、かわいい子猫を脅したんだ。それってこんな感じ？お兄さんもこうなりたい？よくわかってんじゃん。さてとどうやらマリーは近くにいるみたいだよ。急いで探しに行こ
う。ご協力感謝するよ。
ちなみに彼女は警察とは何の関係もないから。
Yeah,
猫に噛
it's
まれ
very
たと思うん
important to say
だ
that.
ね。
うるせえ、とっとと行っちまえ。お前たちただで済むと思うなよ。
う。それじゃ次行ってみよ
う。なんというか。
ええ、すごい迫力だったわね。
あの細腕で大の男を2人も吊るし上げてましたし。
さすがは最強の両兵団の娘ってところか。さっきの殺気はランディにも通じるところがあるよね。
一緒にすんなっつうの。
もう何してんのさ。早く行かないと見つけらんないよ。
ああ、すぐ行くよ。
Can we talk to them? Yeah, we can. Heap, you're back? Stay the hell away from me. Huh? Why would I want to put my hands on a punk weakling like you if I don't have to? Come on guys, we've got a cat to find. Right. So let the bloodlust fool you. She didn't mean anything by it. Don't come any closer. Get the hell out of here. Ah, you again. Boo. Eek! Hahaha. Oh, what are you so scared of? Ah, something tells me a child of innocence only makes her all the more mean-spirited. Look, lay off already. We won't mess with with any cats ever again, okay? Damn, B-word. Manhandling me like that. Mark my words, you bastards are gonna live to regret this. Haha, look at this little baby try to act like he's a big bad wolf. You want to scrap? I'm game for it any time. Just make sure your boys bring a body bag along. Drop it, Shirley. The guy's had enough. You're gonna live to regret this. Well, where do we look? They scared the cat away. Then might be under the car? There it is.
ねえ、ロイド、あれ。
ああ、多分マリーだろ。やっと見つかったな。
Oh, poor thing.
行っちまったか。
でもあとは捕まえるだけだね。
ああ、すぐに後を追う。
It's going into Arkansas.
いたぞ。
ここからはちょっと慎重になった方が良さそうね。
ああ、これ以上他の外区に行かれないよう回り込もう。俺とエリーを迂回して行政区方面から近づくから、ノエルとワジは裏通り方面を。
了解です。
いや、ランディと君はこのまま住宅街方面から頼む。
あった。
包囲戦だね。
さあマリー、こっちへおいで。
心配しないでいいからね。私たちがお家に返してあげるから。
マリーちゃん、怖がらないで。
It's working.
観念しておとなしくしてくれるかな。
ほらほら、何もしないよ。
こういうところは変わらないな。
猫だ。超かわいい。
しかもまだ子猫じゃん。癒されるな。
しまった。
アルカンセルにものすごい。
Imagine if it spoiled a performance.
とにかく俺たちも中に入るしかねえな。
うんうん、もう袋のネズミだろうしね。
ああ、皆様。
Love how they're all perfectly lined up.
今、子猫が突然入ってきて、ものすごいスピードで駆け抜けていったのですが。
ああ、すみません。実は俺たちその子猫を追っている最中なんです。
その劇場内を探しても平気ですか？
ええ、むしろそうしていただけると助かります。本日は夜に各国首脳を招いてのステージを控えているのですが、 ちょうどアーティスト全員が休憩しているところでしたので。
よかった。それは好都合でした。それじゃあパパッと探します。
ちなみに子猫がどこに向かったかご存知ですか？
それが申し訳ないのですが、あまりにすごい勢いだったのと突然の出来事だったもので、詳しいことはちょっと。ただその階段を駆け上がっていったのは間違いありません。
なるほど。となると手分けして探した方が良さそうだな。
そうね。分担はどうしましょう。ちょうど扉が3つあるから2人ずつに分かれていく。
そうだな。
じゃあシャーリーはお兄さんと一緒に行動するよ。
え？
ちょっと待って。
どうしてそうなるの？
なんとなく。あ、ひょっとしてお姉さんたちが一緒にお兄さんと回りたかった？
そんなことは。
そういう問題じゃなくて。
なんだか面白いことになってるな。
お前人事だと思って。
ま、ここまで来たらおかしな真似はしねえだろう。シャーリー、ロイドに変なちょっかいかけるんじゃねえぞ。
はいはい、分かってるって。お兄さん可愛いけどシャーリーの趣味とは違うしね。
可愛いって。まあいいや。とりあえず手分けして劇場内を探すことにしよう。みんな一通り調べたらエントランスに集合してくれ。
それじゃあ早速マリーを探そっか。
ああ、もちろんだ。しかしこうして話してると無邪気で気まぐれな女の子にしか見えないけど、さっきドラ息子たちを脅かした殺気は本物だった。一体どっちが本当のこの子なんだ。
あれれ、どうしたの？ひょっとしてシャーリーに惚れちゃった？
惚れません。とりあえず2階の S 席を調べてみよう。
イエスさ
We've got to chase after Mary before she slips away again. You said the S section seats were on the second floor, right? Let's go. What if Mary's hiding somewhere around here? Oh.
早速見つかったね。
よし、それじゃあここは俺に任せてくれ。
まあいいけど、お手並み拝見だね。
さあマリー、安心してこっちに来るんだ。油断した。
シャーリーもだよ。まだまだ修行不足ってことかな。
いや、どうやら邪魔をしたようだね。
ごめんなさい。いいところだったみたいなのに。
いや、俺の爪が甘かっただけさ。とにかくすぐに後を追うよ。念のためエリーたちは反対側からエントランスに向かってくれ。
ええ、分かったわ。
それじゃあとっとと追いかけようか。
Let's hurry after Mary, she should still be close. I'm not letting her get away this time. Anything there? No.
What?
あれはもしかしてリーシャか。やっぱりリーシャじゃないか。アーティストは全員休憩中だったんじゃないのか。
ロイドさん、 昨日の夜遅くに衣装を修繕してもらっていて、本番前の最終チェックとして衣装合わせをしていたんです。それよりも子猫が入り込んだそうですね。
ああ、そうなんだけど。ってあれ、俺たち逃げた子猫を追ってここに戻ってきたんだけど。
なんだ、そうなのか。
少なくともこちらには来ていないと思いますけど。
いや、みんなお揃いだね。
そうみたいね。それにリーシャさんまで。
ワジにエリー、その様子だと見てないようだな。すると俺たちが見失ってから誰もマリーを見ていないのか。
玄関は閉じてもらったし、やっぱりこのホール付近が怪しいんじゃないかしら。
どこかの影に隠れてる可能性はありそうだ。
そうですね。一度全員で探してみましょうか。
ま、それしかなさそうだね。
こちらの女の子は？
ああ、その子は
お姉さんすごいね。さっきから狙ってるのに全然隙がないんだもん。
そいつは俺の不詳のいとこでな。あんま気にしないでやってくれ。
ランディさんの。
シャーリー・オルランド、シャーリーって呼んでね。いやー、お姉さんのことはアルカンシェルの舞台で見たけど、こうして近くで見るとまた破壊力は格別だね。いいなー、大きくて羨ましいよ。
それってすでに私は一度被害に遭っているから。
What's with this girl?
いいじゃん、減るもんじゃないんだし。これも何かの縁ってことで。あれ、
あんなところに隠れていたのか。
私追いかけてきます。
シャーリーも。
どうしたらいいのかしら。
俺が2人のフォローに回るよ。また逃げてくるかもしれないし、みんなはここで待機してくれ。
了解しました。
今度こそちゃんと捕まえられるといいね。
Poor cat. Oh.
いけない、舞台装置が。でも一体誰が。
このくらい。
すごい。
何も取って食おうってわけじゃないんだからさ。いい加減安心しなよね。ほら、こいつはどうだ？
Shirley lightly scratched Mary's neck.
悪くないって？じゃあお次はこうだ。ちょっとは落ち着いた？
鮮やかな手並みだな。
それに信じられないくらい軽やかな身のこなしでした。そうだ、誰が装置を動かしたのか確認しないと。
それじゃこれから一緒に降りるから、 もう暴れちゃダメだよ。何さいきなり。あっ、
まずい。
Oh, wow.
ナイスキャッチ。
どうやらなんとかなったみたいだな。
ありがとう。お姉さんには助けられちゃったね。
ああ、俺からもお礼を言わせてもらうよ。
いえ、とっさに体が動いただけですから。それに私が出
She
しゃ
sounds
ばら
like
なくても
Shizuku's
シャーリー
voice
さんだったら
actor.
子猫を助けていたと思います。
そうなのか。
へえ、わかるんだ。確かにあのタイミングなら飛び込んだら助けられたけど、とりあえずお姉さんのジャンプとダイナミックな胸の動きが見られたから満足かな。
シャーリー、お前な。
ご愁傷様、リーシャさん。
それにしても本当に申し訳ありませんでした。まさか舞台に子猫がいたなんて。なのに確認もせず点検のために装置を動かしてしまって。
まあいいんじゃない。誰かが怪我したわけでもなし。
ええ、ですからそんなに気にしないでください。
とりあえずそろそろボンドさんのところに戻りましょうか。
そうだね。今も心配して探している最中だろうし。
現金だなこいつ。
そうね、さっきまであんなに怯えていたのに。
だってそれが猫だし。
この子が言うとものすごく説得力があるような。それじゃあ俺たちこれで失礼します。ご協力ありがとうございました。
いやいや、とんでもありません。
どうかお気をつけて。
あ、ねえねえお姉さん。お姉さんのことリーシャって呼んでいいかな。
ええ、もちろん構いませんよ。
ありがとうリーシャ。それじゃまたね。
ランディさんのいとこ、あれが噂のブラッディ・シャーリー。
マリー、もうどこに行ってたんですの。本当に心配したんだから。ごめんなさい。悪いのはサニータだもの。でもありがとう。こうして帰ってきてくれて。これからは勝手に一人でどこか行っちゃダメだからね。
よかったわね。これで一件落着ですね。
君たちには何とお礼を言っていいか。我が家の大切なマリーを本当にどうもありがとう。
感謝の言葉もありませんわ。以前は主人を、そして今度はマリーを。皆さんは私たち家族の大大大恩人ですわ。
いえ、そんな。それに今回は俺たちよりもここにいる彼女が一番貢献してくれたんです。すっかり怯えてしまっていたマリーを落ち着かせてくれて。
マリー、あなたもしかしてそのお姉さんと一緒にいたいって言うんじゃ。心配しなくていいよ。マリーからサニータのことは大好きだって聞いてるからさ。のろけ話を散々聞かされて参っちゃうくらいにね。そうなのマリー。それじゃあそろそろシャーリーも帰ろっかな。お兄さんたちとも遊べたし、マリーとも知り合いになれたし。 なんといってもとっておきを見つけちゃったしね。
おい
またねー。また近いうちに会えるかもしれないけどさ。
なんだか台風みたいな子でしたね。
台風というより竜巻って感じだったけど。
タグ、おじきももう少ししつけとけっての。
まあ今回に関してはいろいろと助けてもらったし。
できれば彼女にもお礼を言いたかったけど、とにかく君たち改めてお礼を言わせてもらうよ。
このご恩は一生忘れませんわ。
サニータからもお礼を言わせてくださいまし。
どういたしまして。
また何かありましたら遠慮なくご連絡なさってください。
I love a happy ending. Quest Mary Gone Missing completed. Beautiful. Thank goodness you're safe, Mary. Now, as punishment for running away, I'm going to hug you all day long. Yarn? Get ready, Mary. Here I come. Hug. Yarn. My family always seems to be in your debt, SSS. Thank you again for your help today, truly. Sunita hasn't stopped smothering Mary in affection since you brought her home. Not that Mary seems to mind one bit. Bond's daughter is back to her usual chipper self from the sound of it. What a relief that their cat was found.
そうね。無事マリーちゃんが見つかってよかったけど。
すまねえな、不詳のいとこが迷惑をかけて。
先輩のせいじゃないですよ。それに結構いい子みたいじゃないですか。そうね。なんだかんだ言って親身になって協力してくれたし。
ま、確かに悪みはねえんだ。それだけに結構厄介だな。
なるほど。いろいろあるみたいだな。
女の子の気まぐれに振り回されるのも男の解消だと思うけど。それでどうするんだい？
そうだな。まだ支援要請は残ってるけど、一度支援課に戻って休憩してもいいかもしれない。
そうね。そうしましょうか。
そんじゃあ中休みに支援課に戻るとすっか。
Oh, to have a break. I mean, sure, let's see what happens if we do that. I've saved it there just in case.
あら、すごくいい匂いね。
へえ、メープルシロップの匂いみたいだけど。
ライドたち、やっぱり帰ってきたんだ。
ああ、ちょっと休憩にね。それにしてもマフィンを焼いてたのか？
なんかみんなが帰ってきそうな気がしたから。メープルマフィンだよ。
お、キーボー、気が利くじゃねえか。
嬉しいな。せっかくだし紅茶でも入れましょうか。
なるほど、そんなところで出くわしたのか。
ええ、何か狙いがあって現れたわけではなさそうですが。
赤い星座の方に相変わらず動きはないんすか？
何かあれば一家の方からこちらに連絡があるはずだ。気持ちはわからんでもないが、ま、そう焦るな。
了解。
まあ気になるのは赤い星座だけじゃない。とにかく何か兆候はないか気をつけて回ってみよう。
そうね、ビップが訪れている状況で何か起きたら大変だし、
余裕があったら車で郊外にも回ってみましょう。
ロイドたちまた出かけるの？
ああ、お仕事再開だ。マフィンごちそうさま。すっごく美味しかったぞ。
私たちの誰よりも料理が上手になっちゃったわね。ひょっとしてオスカーさんに作り方を習ったりしたとか？
そんなとこ。あ、まだ残りがあるからよかったら食べて。明日くらいまでなら大丈夫だと思うから。
Receive maple muffins. 5 maple muffins.
へえ、気が利くじゃない。
お父さん泣けてくるぜ。
ちょっと待った。いくらランディでもキーヤの父親役は譲れないぞ。
面白い。俺様とやり合おうってか。
Oh, a rivalry.
何を張り合ってるんだか。
親バカ、ここに極まれりだね。
That's hilarious. I doubt that Shirley girl was up to anything in particular when you ran into her. The Red Constellation's actions may be troubling, but we've got other matters that need our attention. You know the drill. Look after yourselves and work at your own pace. The Red Constellation's actions may be troubling, but we've got other matters that need our attention. Same old dialogue.
皆さん、それでは、はい、お疲れ様でした。報告は言っては。
So we've still got to find Olivier. Monster extermination, music man, racing battle. So where is this? Oh, Armorica village.
Are?
鳥の鳴き声？
なんだ？
白い鷹？
That's Sieg.
いや、ハヤブサみたいだね。
おいおい、なんだってこんな街のど真ん中に。
もしかして俺たちに何か用があるのか？
ザイトが話しかける時と同じような感じだけど。
ああ、ティオスケがいたら何喋ってんのか分かりそうだが。
あれ、どうしたの？わあ、白い鳥だ。くちばしも尖っててかっこいい。なるほど、そうなんだ。
キア、やっぱりわかるのかな？
すごいですね。
この子ジークって言うんだって。ロイドたちに伝言があるから受け取ってって言ってるよ。
そうなのか？
お、あ、確かに足のところにメモがくくりつけてあるな。
Lloyd removed the note tied to the bird's leg.
背景、クロスベル警察特務支援課様、皆様の評判を耳にしてぶしつけですが連絡させていただきました。もしお時間があれば内密に相談に乗っていただけないでしょうか。本日夕刻、クロスベル空港待合テラスにてお待ちしております。追伸、もしご都合がつかない場合もご返答はいただかなくて結構です。
これって内容といい差出人不明といい怪しすぎますけど。
でも綺麗な筆跡だし、文章も丁寧な感じだね。
何よりもメモに押されてるその白はやぶさの紋章は
キア、彼はなんて？
行くか行かないかはロイドたち次第だって。
そうか。
どうするの？まさかそんなわけはないとは思うんだけど。
ああ、さすがにな。
でも白はやぶさの紋章って今の子もそうだったみたいですし。
イヤが上にも期待しちゃうよね。
せっかくのお誘いだ。ここはお受けしておこう。まだ夕方まで時間はあるから、用事を済ませてからでもいい。
わかったわ。
緊張してきました。
まあさすがに清掃していく必要はないだろうが。
それじゃあ用が済んだら南口のクロスベル空港に行こうか。
よくわからないけど、みんな頑張ってね。
Awesome. Okay, where's Kia? Where does she go? Wasn't Sieg super cool? He was such a smart birdie too. I hope I get to see him again. There's more to that bird than meets the eye. That note, the white falcon crest? It couldn't be, could it? I hope I get to see him again. Grr woof. Can we tell Sergey about this? Let's see. No. Awesome. We've made some good progress. So we can now explore the downtown district. Oh, you've got to be S-word and me. Oh, female dog and moan some more, why don't you? Those voices. Lloyd, look. The hell is wrong with you, Slash? Use your freaking head for once. What are we gonna do if Wald drinks himself to death? Because the way things are going, he's already halfway there. I told you, that's why I'm weighing our options to keep that from happening. It's not my fault nothing's come to mind yet. Get off my damn case. Oh yeah? What about your poo for brains idea to take him sightseeing on top of the tower? That'll cheer him up for sure. What do you think he is, a 7-year-old? If he was, he sure as hell wouldn't be in this hole in the first place. Seriously, has anyone ever told you how much of a grade A dumb butt you are? Bastard. You want to start giving out scores, huh? And if I'm a grade A dumb butt, you're grade triple S, you haven't even come up with one idea. Oh yeah? You want to go? Let's go. Knock it off, you two. Speaking of triple S dumb butts. Where do you get off pulling weapons on each other? You're supposed to be comrades. Stay out of this, Carrot Top. It ain't any of your damn business. This is all Wazy's fault anyway. You're the one who turned your back on the downtown district. Yeah, Wald wouldn't even be like this if it wasn't for your chicken S-word butt. Wow, so much swearing. Well, Wazy, you're gonna own up to it or what? Hold on a second, Wazy didn't do anything. Whatever. This is just pissing me off even more. Guess we'll have to lay you chumps out first. Ha, now you're talking. Just don't get your face smashed in, Huey. I still gotta do it myself later. What should we do, Lloyd? This is starting to go beyond boys will be boys territory. Damn, if this keeps up, we won't have any choice but to subdue them. Ho hum, how utterly depressing. There's our musician. Such needless conflict will only link the chains of hatred across your otherwise delightful hearts. To you who choose to scuffle in the streets, I give the timeless gift of song. It is a soothing yet mournful ballad, intended to unite the hearts of those ragamuffins who have lost their way. Brightly soothing stars, leaving trails in the skies. Like a guiding light, they show me the way to your eyes. This yearning passion tears my heart in twain, and the cruel moon mocks my pain. If this fleeting dream shall never be. Oh no. Shut the hell up, Blondie! Gah! Oh, hello there, little kitten. Is something the matter? As you can see, I'm in the middle of a delightful performance. Autographs will have to wait until after the show. Moreover, it would be quite dangerous if you kicked me down from this height. Why, there may not be an Would you shut the hell up already? Quit your hater-walling and get off of our roof. We're trying to run a business here. Fine, please calm your... I said get down. Ah! Well, at least he's down now. You alive, Blondie? Still breathing? Gah. Guess so. What happened? Did he fall through the roof? Oh, well, that was something. Man, this ain't even fun anymore. Later. What was up with that guy? Ah! Forget about him, let's bail. They left. All's well that ends well? Well, would you look at that? I've managed to nip the bud of a blossoming fight here in the city of Sin. Another debonair adventure complete. Once again, my mellifluent lute has brought peace by spreading the gentle chords of love and devotion. Sometimes I'm almost frightened by my level of genius. He's moonwalking. Excuse me, but are you alright? That sounded like a hard fall. Worry not, my fair lady. A fall of that height was absolutely nothing to a man who has kissed the dewdrop skies of this very continent. What's wrong with this guy? Do excuse the minor interruption. Now that I've regained my composure, we can continue my grand sonata. Gather round, ladies and gentlemen. Now, where was I? If this fleeting dream... Please, you don't have to do that. Hey Lloyd, could he be a blonde musician in a white coat? He definitely fits the description. Mueller said he could be a handful, but he's nothing like what I expected. Ahem, you must be Olivier, am I right? The one and only, my darling. It is I, the unparalleled genius, wandering bard and seeker of love, Olivier Lenheim. Praise be to Adios, as it is by her grace that you have had the pleasure of witnessing one of my famous impromptu performances. Engrave this day into your hearts, for it has surely been a once-in-a-lifetime experience for you all. Right. Hold on a tick. You know my name? You knew my name before I introduced myself. How is that possible? I don't believe I've uttered my name once since coming to Crossbell. Have we perhaps met somewhere before? Not exactly. We're with the Crossbell Police Special Support Section. We've been looking for you per the request of your agent Mueller. You know who we're speaking of, right? Ah, I see. So you're the ones. That Mueller. He's just as much of a worrywart as ever. Surely he knows by now that time apart will never dampen the measure of our love. On the contrary, it makes our hearts grow both fonder and bolder. Huh? Wait, are you saying the two of you are... Yeah, no, I seriously doubt it. That's beside the point. Can you come with us back to Mueller now? I'm afraid not, officers of the law. I have to make the most of Crossbell while I still can. I'll be quite occupied tomorrow, you see. occupied? Nothing you need to concern yourself over. But do keep in mind that if you claim to be unable to look the other way, I will do everything in my power to give you no say in the matter. Oh, really now? And just how do you plan on doing that? Wait, is that the famous Julia Schwartz standing right over there? What? Really? Where? Hey, wait a second, I don't see anyone. Where'd she? Hey! Till next we meet, my new friends. Ta-ta. Wait! He got away. We just fell for the oldest trick in the book. Of course, Senior Captain Schwartz wouldn't be in a place like this. I can already tell this dude is going to be a pain in the butt. Reminds me of Lecter. Never mind that, let's chase after him. The only question is, where did he go? Why don't we check the other places we discussed earlier? That's how we stumbled upon him downtown after all. He may be in the back alley or Harbour District. Sounds like a plan. Let's move. Oh man, that was great. That was an epic cutscene. That man in the white coat just now must have been a musician of sorts. My ears aren't what they used to be, but that little melody he played was really quite pleasant. To hell with those visiting dignitaries. You think there was a festival going on the way everyone's all keyed up about it. Poor guy. Everyone in the city has been drawing on and on about the big unveiling ceremony. I know the new city hall is a symbol of Crossbell's booming economy, but that's great and all, but I wish they wouldn't forget about us regular folks living down here in its shadow. Anyhow, Gable seems to be in a real sour mood. I suppose I'll invite him over and listen to him gripe and grumble for a spell. Guy's nice. He reminds me a bit of a pastor, to be honest. Even though he's not a pastor or a priest, he's doing the kind of thing that a pastor is called to do, which is care for people's souls. And in a way, that does involve listening to people gripe and grumble, listening to people's problems, taking others' problems upon yourself and helping them to share the burden. And sometimes offering a listening ear when no one else is willing to listen. That is true pastoral care. That is true care for the human soul. It's like that passage in 1 Peter chapter 5 where Peter says to elders or pastors, he says, shepherd the flock over which you are overseers. It says something along those lines. And Paul certainly says the same thing in Acts chapter 8. Shepherd the flock over which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers. Acts 20 verse, I don't know what verse it is. Anyway, all that is to say that, what's his name, Tans or something, he's a great guy. Certainly wouldn't mind having a neighbour like him. The door is firmly shut, a voice can be heard inside. Huh? No Myra left? Guess that leaves me no choice, time to roll up my sleeves and get myself a job. But for now, zzz, snore. Poor guy. Guess Vaughn's dad will just have to find a way to make some Myra. My old man is out of booze and Myra. About time too. Yeah. Poor Vaughn. It's a very dysfunctional family. Speaking of which, the mother is surprisingly absent. So I think what happened is that father used to be married, had a wife, but she must have somehow died or potentially left him and abandoned him. It could have been either option, but still it tore him up so much inside that he just gave up. Which is quite horrible. And now Van, the kid, he's living in poverty and the father is just abandoning his duties as a father by just drinking his life away. Some rowdy jackbutt got on the roof of my shop earlier. I was thinking about shooting him down with an explosive round. Wouldn't want to damage the roof though, so I let Jingo take care of it. You can't be serious. We'd never overlook gunfire in the middle of the city, Pardon me, Ashley. Get off my case, Flatfoot. There's no crime in saying I thought about it. Still, there was something off about that blondie. I feel like I've seen his face somewhere before. Must be my imagination. Something felt off about that blondie. I feel like I've seen his face somewhere before. Must be my imagination. That blondie had a real spring in his step, even after he fell off the roof. Maybe I should have kicked him harder. Alright, where's... Yeah, still need an Azurfish. HP slowly recovers on the field. That's not bad. Ingenuity. Oh, that's really good. So I need a catfish and a shield breaker. What is a fighter? Oh, I can get this. Prankster. I think I already have it though. Dragon Vision. Shackle. What's that? Oh. Interesting. I really want this one, above all. I wonder what Wold is doing. Is Wold in here drinking? No. The Testaments are a good gang. They wouldn't let Wold just drink the day away. Well, I can't believe he had to leave all of a sudden. I should have asked what hotel he was staying at. He was pretty dashing, I'll admit. Don't you think he was a little weird too, though? So what? Maybe I like him weird. That's part of what made him so charming. I guess. Oh, I can't believe he had to leave all of a sudden. Yeah, she's talking about Olivier. Sure, he was handsome, good at billiards, a singer, and a musician, but for some reason he just didn't really do it for me, you know? It sounded like there was a lot of commotion outside. Was it that customer we just had? Actually, don't answer. I'm probably better off minding my own business. About all the commotion outside. Was it that customer we just had? Same dialogue. Silence. Thinking about something, Abbas? Ah, Wazy. Yes, I was ruminating over what a diverse set of people there are in this world. It does take all kinds, as they say. That goes for the two of us as well. Indeed it does. Abbas sure does open up around Wazy. I suppose that's a sign of just how close they are. Truly, the world is made up of all sorts of different people. Man, that blonde guy earlier was such a weirdo. I feel like I'm going to be talking about him for days. I love how Olivier just makes a profound impression on everyone. It's just hilarious. You don't meet a lot of people like him in real life. But when you do, it's special. And you never forget it. Me and that customer never got to finish that game, but honestly, it was already over for me. I guess there's always got to be someone out there who's better than you. Me and that customer never got to finish that game, but honestly, it was already over for me. I guess there's always gonna be someone out there who's better than you. That's really good. So that guy took off. That blonde guy took off just like that. It almost feels like a tornado swept through here. I love Olivier. He's such a good character. I snuck a peek at Orca's Tower earlier and, well, can't really say I'm a fan. Obviously, as an engineer, I've got an interest in the latest tech and such. But with this, I'm not big on the spectacle of it all. Feels too much like a pissing contest, if you'll excuse the language. Orca's Tower is something else, and I don't mean that in a good way. Obviously, as an engineer, I've got an interest in the latest tech and such, but the place just ain't for me, is all I can say. There's supposed to be a bunch of reporters and important people from other countries coming into the city today. Someone said they wouldn't bother coming down our street. I wonder why. Sweep, sweep. I'm gonna be more thorough anyway, just in case. There's supposed to be a bunch of important people from other countries coming into the city today. Sweep, sweep. I've got to be more thorough just in case they stop by. So that's what Wald's been up to, huh? Yeah, he was staggering over to some shop looking totally trashed for everyone to see. He walked out with a ton of booze, probably back at his place getting wasted right now. Real talk, it was rough seeing Wald like that. I mean, sure, he used to have some drinks for fun, but he's completely lost himself. Yeah, I don't like it any more than you do. Things aren't going to turn out well if we let him walk around in public while he's completely hammered. We gotta keep an eye out for the guy and help him through this. Yeah, we're on it. That's what Wald's been up to? Dude's trying to drown away his sorrows. I'm worried for his health if he's really drinking as much as they say. Listen up. Anything happens, you tell me or Lugana. Got it? Yeah, for sure. I think Dino would just say the same, yeah. Oh, that wailing nutcase back there really crammed our style. You're not getting off so easy next time. Remember that, Wazy. Hahaha, the world's got its fair share of freaks, huh? Wait, weren't Huey and me fighting about something? Wow. Talk about short-term memory loss. Meh, guess it doesn't matter. Only thing I should be thinking over right now is what to do about Wald. Wald! Where you at, bro? Don't leave us in the dust. We'll shell out for all the drinks you want if you just come back to us. 'Cause without you, man, every party's a bust. I hope Wald gets better. Yeah, some people think that the way to deal with problems is to just drink them away and let alcohol take its effect, but the actual way to deal with it is to, if you can't think of any way that you can handle it yourself, is to talk with someone you trust. But because everyone in the Saber Vipers looks up to Wold, maybe that's why Wold is drinking his worries away, because he thinks, I can't confide in them because they're looking up to me, so that would look uncool, so I've just got to drink away. But yeah, that's never, ever the solution. Alrighty. Well, the next two places were there was a back alley in the Harbour District. Let's explore the Harbour District. That's quite small. And should be easy. Oh, there he is. There's that cheeky guy. Chancellor Osborne is visiting Michelin while President Rocksmith is at the IBC. They're both under heavy security, so I don't think we'll need to worry about either of them for now. This red-headed man is in a Gaudy suit tried my noodles just now. Then the little punk said he wanted the secret recipe for my broth, so he jumped right into the back of the cart. I had to smack him with my soup ladle to get him to leave. The nerve of that guy. Is that Lecter? A red-headed man in a gaudy suit. Sounds like someone we know. Acts like him too, apparently. Do you know where he went by chance? Well, he said he was going to find some dessert and then made his way toward the entertainment district. The entertainment district? Got it. We don't know if it's him for sure, but honestly, who else could it be? A young man with red hair and a gaudy suit tried my noodles just now, and he took off toward the entertainment district so we could grab some dessert. I couldn't deliver my packages to all the dignitaries visiting this morning. My workload's still the same as ever though, so I need to make up for lost time. Get back here. Oh, I missed him. I saw an Eastern woman walking towards East Street earlier. She had long flowing black hair and was rocking a snazzy white pantsuit. A real looker if you ask me. An Eastern woman with long black hair? Excuse me ma'am, do you happen to know which way she went? Toward East Street I think. East Street? Got it. We can't be certain it was Killicup, but this is still a lead worth following up on. Well, we were in East Street and we never saw her. I saw an Eastern woman walking towards East Street earlier. She had long flowing black hair and was wearing a snazzy white pantsuit. Real look if you ask me. Darn that Nikolai, can't let him get a head start over me. Coming through, packages to deliver. Huff, huff. I know I should be resting, but I just can't sit still. Getting my muscles moving helps me clear my mind. You know, Celine's been going on a lot of runs with me lately. Darn that Nikolai, can't let him get a head start over me. So Nielsen's out of office right now? Just my luck. My apologies, but Mr. Nielsen doesn't actually spend much of his time here at the agency. He said he would be visiting with a friend today. Could I perhaps take a message? No need to put yourself out. I was just looking to have a friendly chat with him. I'm sure there'll be other chances. That being said, would it be okay if I went up and said hello to the editor-in-chief? Let me check with him on that. Just a moment, please. I just developed the photos Grace and Reins took. Look at them, aren't they fantastic? The question is, which one of these should I use for the special edition? This one, that one, and maybe this one on the right would be perfect. Once I pick him out, the editor-in-chief will check it over and give it the final okay. Oh, it's locked. My apologies everyone, but the IBC is closed for today. You see, President Rocksmith is actually here for a visit at the moment. If you have any business to tend to, we'll have to ask you to come back tomorrow. President Rocksmith? Oh, that's right. Lanfei mentioned something about that yesterday. Damn, no wonder you guys aren't taking any chances. If that's the case, let's stay out of the way for now. We wouldn't want to make their jobs any harder. Sorry, but the IBC is closed today. If you have any business to attend to, we'll have to ask you to come back tomorrow. Can we sneak past? Yes, we can. Sign is hung on the locked door. Hey you, trading Ltd, Crossbell branch. If you have business with us, please knock. Grandpa guy's gone. I've already fished there, but is there anyone hiding behind here? Nope. There he is, the grandpa guy. The police told me to refrain from fishing during the trade conference. Still, it's fun to walk around town with my granddaughter like this every once in a while. Ah, stop. Now let's have a look-see. So that's the fella they call Mishy, eh? Look over there, Grandpa. Mishy's in the park. Wow, that's a lot of people. They must be here for the Mishy event. I believe this is what the theme park staff are doing for the day, seeing as Michelin is closed during the conference. It's a shame Ciel isn't here to see this. I think they're about to do a dance number. Why don't we stick around for it? After all, we're already... Wait, is that? Yes, it is. I love you, Mishy. Olivier. That guy who joined in is pretty good at this. Okay everyone, all together now. Let's dance and make a wishy with Mishy. Let's dance and make a wishy with Mishy. Olivier and Mishy exchange a firm handshake. Haha, well met and well done, Mishy. To be frank, your dancing prowess is something to be commended. Mihihi, you're not too shabby yourself, fella. Where did you learn to dance? I'm rather fond of ballroom dancing myself. Naturally, my preferred partner would be a beautiful woman, but you were a fine standard, my furry companion. Though I suppose I shouldn't have expected any less from Crossbell's most beloved mascot. Mihihi, oh stop it, you're making me blush. What in Adios' name is he doing? Looks like he barged in to take some of the spotlight for himself. Remember when Mueller asked us to prevent him from drawing attention to himself? That's out the window now. Uh-oh, I do believe I've been discovered. My apologies, dear Mishy, but I must vacate the premises for now. Oh, that's too bad. Mihihi, let's dance together at Michelin Wonderland next time. Now that is one wishy I promised to bring to fruition. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but the bond we have forged today will linger in my heart for eons to come. Adios, mi amigo. Bye-bye. Wow, that was an epic jump. He cut and ran again. I get the feeling he's used to this sort of thing. On the bright side, this narrows down the number of places he could have escaped to. It's not going to matter either way unless we start chasing after him. So Mishy's holding an event, huh? Well, as long as the city gave them permission, that shouldn't be any problem. I bet they're giving that audience the full Michelin Wonderland experience. You gotta dance with me next time, Grandpa. Well, that may be a little difficult for these old bones. Must be a rip-snorting good time dancing around like that. Wouldn't mind joining in myself if I were just a little bit younger. Kids look like they're having the time of their lives. That blonde guy was pretty cool, huh? Still doesn't hold a candle to Mishy though. Wow, color me surprised. I don't think that guy would be able to keep up. I didn't think that guy would be able to keep up with Mishy's dancing so well. Maybe I should have tried to scout him while I had the chance. Me, wasn't that fella a barrel of fun? Maybe next time he can play with me at Michelin Wonderland. I want to dance with Mishy too next time. I've finally seen the light. Just call me a full-on Michelinite. I'm gonna buy as much merch as I can carry home with me. Mishy's got some pretty sick dance moves. I feel silly for thinking he was just another Myra a dozen mascot. He's more than that and then some. That blonde man strolled into the show while playing Mishy's dance theme on his lute. Not only that, he even joined in on the dance part way through. What a funny guy, huh? That's the legendary Olivier. Well, I think Olivier would have gone to the back alley, so let's see. Potentially the entertainment district as well, but Mueller said he already checked there. Thought so. Olivier? Wow, he's pretty good, isn't he? Thank you for listening to my serenade. Bravo. You're amazing, mister. What would you say to signing on as our live entertainer for a while? I'd be willing to compensate you, of course. My, that does sound oh so tempting. I gladly accept your gracious offer. Well, wait just a darn second. What's this? Found me already, have you? Now you're going around taking random side jobs? This dude's got some screws loose. I urge you to cease this admittedly well-earned flattery. Why, I can feel my cheeks reddening already. No one's flattering you, you jackpot. We're taking you with us this time. Now, surely you must know when to give up. Life isn't meant to be a constant chase. You have to stop and smell the grand roses too. Sip it slowly like a fine wine. And so I shall offer a gift to brighten up your weary, dreary hearts. A melody woven with the very essence of love and devotion. Oh? What troubles you, Mademoiselle? How do you say that? Mademoiselle? Make no mistake, while a melancholy sigh may have its charms, a beautiful young woman should never be without happiness in her heart. Let me make something perfectly clear. Mueller requested that we retrieve you, no matter what it takes. He even authorized us to use force. As a matter of fact, he insisted on it. Okay. That's brilliant. Point taken. I surrender. I promise. That smile is more terrifying than the things that usually scare her. As disappointing as this is, the time has come for me to sail with the tide. Very well then, would you be so kind as to escort me back to Mueller? Just to be safe, I think it'd be a better idea to call Mueller to come here, as much as I'd hate to put him out of his way. That's definitely the safest choice. No doubt he'd try to give us the slip the second we stepped outside. It pains me to see how little trust I instill. You'll live. Anyway, I'll try contacting the station to see if someone can get a hold of Mueller. Good work, everyone. Thanks to all of you, I was able to corral this nuisance before he got too carried away. No problem. Glad we could help. Corral? Why, you make me sound like common livestock, and I know for a fact that I'm so much more to you than that. Then again, degradation does have its own special charms, I suppose. If that's what you're into, I'm more than happy to take all the abuse you can muster, my dear Mueller. Shut up. I take it back. Please don't hurt me. My apologies, everyone. This idiot and I have a bit of a history together. he never learns his lesson, so I always end up having to cut his leash shorter and shorter. Haha, sounds like you used to dishing out tough love. Love doesn't begin to discover it. Love doesn't begin to cover it. There's nothing like having a companion who truly supports you. Then again, who wouldn't want to accompany one such as myself, known for almost as many virtues and good deeds as the goddess above? Does that count as heresy? Haha, I don't even think Adios could get this ne'er-do-well to repent. I'm afraid you're right, but as far as I'm aware, the church's sermons aren't nearly as hard-hitting as mine. No, please, I'll behave myself, Mueller. Please don't encourage his savagery, I beg of you. Haha. Something tells me this is their usual friendly banter. We should be going. There's still quite a bit on our agenda. Thank you again for all of Thank you again for all of your help. Don't mention it. All in a day's work. Though, if you don't mind me saying, I wouldn't take my eyes off him if I were you. I know all too well. And so our revelry reaches its inevitable denouement. I bid you adieu, ladies and gentlemen. May we meet again, fates permitting. Sure. My only regret is never receiving the luxury of frolicking with Mishy at that oft-rumoured resort park. Wait just a moment. Your division takes on contract work, yes? Would that mean I could request you to serve as our guides? Ah, me and my strokes of genius. Why, we'll have so much fun that even an incorrigible sourpuss like Mueller would... Ah, Mueller? It was just a little joke. Wait, no! And there they go. Not every day you meet a duo like them. Though on second thought, I feel like there's more to those two than meets the eye. Well, you heard him. Fates permitting, you might get the chance to ask them yourself sometime. Honestly, that might be more trouble than it's worth. That man, he basically threatened Olivier the entire time, but is he? No, it couldn't be. Something wrong, Ellie? You've been pretty quiet. No, it's nothing. Cool, then I think this one's a wrap. Ready to head off, Lloyd? Yeah, let's go. You dimwit, for once in your life, could you keep your whims in your head where they belong? You know full well what kind of place Crossbell is. It would make my life infinitely easier if you took more consideration for the position you're in. What's this? Sounds like someone's been fretting himself over little old me. Besides, you know I can't help it. I just had to see all this city has to offer before my duties shackled me. As a result of my little excursion, I feel I've come to understand why they dubbed this place the City of Sin. But that's not all I've caught wind of. A certain someone we know has been shifting his pieces behind the curtain. Is that so? Then at least you managed to get something useful out of all this. I think he's talking about Lecter, maybe. Indeed, and thanks to you, Mueller, I was able to have a little preview of what's to come. Which reminds me, how go the arrangements? I'm only able to romp and frolic about the way I do because I know you can manage just fine without me. I'm not the one to be concerned about, but yes, I've already contacted them. They needed to know that our schedule has been delayed, no thanks to you. Well, in that case, let us make haste. It would be unbecoming of us to keep two lovely ladies waiting. Quest, Musician Manhunt completed. That Olivier fellow was quite a character. I wanted to hire him on as the bar's live entertainment, but I suppose that's off the table. Yes, it certainly is. That was quite a performance that musician put on. I was dead tired from work, but it perked me right up. Right, so we've only got 2 left. And what we'll do is we will take care of the monster quest first. because it's a medium one, it'll carry over to the next chapter or segment in the story. And I think it's better to just get the medium ones over and done with rather than let them drag on. That's just why I usually do it. Wing. Oh, wonder what that is. What's wing? It wouldn't be a quartz, no. No, would be an equipment. An equipment item. No? Then just an ordinary item. Okay, I'm a little bit confused. What did I just receive? I got given a reward and I don't even know what the reward is. Oh well, I guess it doesn't matter. I loved that. In fact, those two support quests that we did, I just love it. I think now I'm finally beginning to see why people love this game so much. And it really is just, I don't know, just everything. The character interactions, the interesting requests, even the one they were finding the cat, like the way they brought in different characters and the way they gave it unexpected twists and turns, it just made it so, it made it come to life. It made it so much more interesting than it normally would have been had they not fleshed it out in this way. So I think, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, so good stuff. I'll end the playthrough there, actually. Save the game. I'll pause the video for a bit, and then I'll be back to offer some final thoughts and reflections. Alright, I'm back, and we'll end the video there. First off, as I always do, I'll give some reflections of the playthrough. I absolutely loved that segment where the SSS saw two members of the Saber Vipers, and as usual, the Saber Vipers were going ape and aggro, and the situation was flaring up and a fight was about to break out. But then Olivier, and I wasn't expecting this, Olivier goes up on the roof of Nine Valley, of all stores, and he plays them a serenade, and I forgot what the song was called. He plays it in Trails in the Sky. And it's just the whole atmosphere, the fact that he does it awkwardly, the fact that the Saber Vipers and the SSS are like, what? Who is this guy? This is weird. And the fact that Jingo then gets sent up to push him and shove him and to get off my store, you know, get off the roof of my store. And then Olivier, as he's springing down, he accidentally slips and falls off. Just altogether, it creates such a funny atmosphere, and especially because it was unexpected. So I think, yeah, and that final part where Ellie says to Olivier, "Hey Olivier, by the way, Mueller did permit us to use force and even encouraged it," when Olivier almost screamed like a little girl, and he was like, okay, I'll come quietly. Yeah, it was just brilliant. Really good writing. This is what keeps me coming back to this series, the amazing writing. It's not perfect, but it's moments like these that made me love the Trail series. And even in that cat quest for Bond, like the fact that the heroes keep helping this family, and you get to know them more, it's really nice. it was surprising to see Shirley come along, and she at least showed some redeemable qualities, although I really don't like the fact that she keeps obsessing over certain features of women. I don't really like that. I don't know why that's in the game, to be honest. I don't think it needs to be there. I think she can be naughty without being profane. And some people might say, yeah, but it's because she's a Jaeger and she lives with a group of men and women who are like that. Yeah, sure, but it's also a story. And it's a choice that you make to have her like this. So, again, I personally wouldn't prefer that kind of stuff in here. I'm really thankful she doesn't grope anyone again. Because in that scene where she groped Ellie, I really didn't like that. And I even had to censor it in the video in which I played it. But it's good that that doesn't happen again, but I still don't really like the references. But I will admit, it is nice to see a redeemable quality of her, which is where she actually cares for cats. And I kind of like that, because cats are my favorite animals, and I think I can't help but root for her when she does that. So, yeah. And just the way it all transpired, it was fun, it was innocent, and I did like how we saw Rishia save the cat using her epic moves, which she undoubtedly got from her training as an assassin. And I think Shirley picked up on that, and she's onto her, so... And I wonder if Lloyd also picked up on the fact that there's more to Rishia than meets the eye. I'm not sure though. He didn't make a comment, but perhaps. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the playthrough. Overall, I was really happy with this playthrough. This might even have been my favorite playthrough. I don't know. The game is really improving, I think, in terms of the funny cutscenes and the good writing, the clever writing, and the unexpected scenarios. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's to come. Alright, those are the end of my reflections of the playthrough. Now, as I always do with every video, I will offer a Christian reflection. So if you would like to listen, I invite you to stick around. You might learn something. So I've chosen to base it off of a Bible passage. We'll continue reading from 1 Peter chapter 2, and we'll just read a small number of verses. So beginning at verse 22, and I'm reading from the New International Version of the Bible. A very good modern translation. It says, "Now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth, so that you have sincere love for one another, love one another deeply, from the heart. For you have been born again, not of perishable seed, but of imperishable, through the living and enduring word of God. For," and he's quoting Isaiah, "all people are like grass, and all their glory is like the flowers of the field. The grass withers, and the flowers fall, but the word of the Lord endures forever. And this is the word that was preached to you." What's fascinating about this is Peter says this is the word that was preached to you. So he was quoting Isaiah, who prophesied approximately 700 years before the New Testament was even written. And Peter is saying here, yeah, this word that Isaiah spoke, this is what's being preached to you right now. And so the New Testament is a continuation of the Old. And what's the message? Well, the message is what I read last time when he said in verse 18, "For you know that it was not with perishable things such as silver or gold that you were redeemed from the empty way of life handed down to you from your ancestors, but with the precious blood of Christ, a lamb without blemish or defect. He was chosen before the creation of the world, but was revealed in these last times for your sake. Through him you believe in God, who raised him from the dead and glorified him, And so your faith and hope are in God. So this word of the fact that Christ shed his blood for the forgiveness of our sins as our substitute, and that he rose again from the dead, this is actually the message that Isaiah proclaimed. And so we are receiving it today, not in a kind of hidden form as the Old Testament often says things in parables or a less obvious way, but the New Testament helps bring it to light. It's when we encounter Christ in the New Testament that the Old becomes clear. And ironically, when we read the Old Testament, that itself helps give us more understanding and depth to the New Testament. And so we need both. They both build on each other and help to understand the other. And of course, this passage is all about grace. It says you've been born again through the living and enduring Word of God. I love that word, living. The Bible is not a lifeless word, it's a living word. And I think the reason why Peter calls it a living word is because in another passage of scripture, St. Paul calls the Word of God the sword of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit. So the Holy Spirit works through the Word to cut, as it were, to the inner parts of our being, our hearts and our souls, to create an impact in our lives. After all, whenever people hear the Bible, it always has an impact on them, a special kind of impact. And that's why, by the way, I do these Christian reflections at the end of each playthrough. It's because I know that the Bible has an impact on people, and I want people to be able to meet Christ. I want them to be able to have this special, profound opportunity to know him and to love him, because that changes lives for the better. Not everyone will accept it, but those who will know just how great it is. Not always easy, but certainly great and comforting. And so this is the work of God's grace. And of course, he begins by saying, now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth, so that you have sincere love for each other, love one another deeply from the heart. Remember what Jesus said in John's Gospel in chapter 13? By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. So love is the hallmark. It's the primary characteristic of Jesus' disciples, his Christians, his followers. It's the love that they show one another. And of course, we don't do this perfectly. We're sinners like everyone else, but we ought to try, because of he who calls us to do so, our Lord and our Saviour, Jesus, who died for us because he loves us, and who rose again so that whoever believes in him and thus makes him their Lord and Saviour may live with him forever in heaven and not be punished according to their sins, the eternal punishment that we all deserve. Because Christ paid our punishment in our place. What a profound blessing. And so this message is a message by which we are given new birth. New birth to live as a child of God by the Holy Spirit with our Saviour Jesus Christ, and to serve him who is the true ruler of this world. Even though for a little while Satan prowls around like a lion and seems to have control, he won't have the last say in the end. Only Christ will, who is our Lord and our God. If you stuck around, thanks for listening. I hope you got something from that. I love this playthrough. I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come. And I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.